The Midnight Dance by CartoonNerd12. Chapter 12. All 6 of them sat on their beds the minute they got out of their monkey suits and fixed their manes back to normal. They laid around in despair and anger.
"What a bunch of hooey!" Rainbow yelled, "telling me to just sit around like a good little wife. Yuck! With my luck, I probably would have ended up with a husband that's too boring. At least Soren likes to have fun and doesn't care that I do things."
Rarity shouted out, "And how dare she tell me I'm too beautiful, that it may send the wrong message? The very thought! Fancy Pants knows I'm more than that." "I can speak up if I want to. Discord seems to like when I talk," Fluttershy pointed out. "I can have parties as much as I want to. Cheese and I both know a party makes every pony happy. I bet you 1,000 bits that a party can make her happy and not be a grouchy pants anymore," Pinkie declared.
"Keeping up appearances?"
Applejack muttered. "So what if I don't dress up fancy or put on makeup that much? I like how I look. Spike likes when I dress simple. Can a guard count as a lesser noble?" Twilight questioned. The girls gave her confused looks until Rarity said, "I'm not sure, darling. Maybe, but it's hard to say. Why do you ask?" "Because if I am going to stay here and have to marry a noble who isn't in line for a throne, then it could be possible I can marry Flash?"
Her cheeks went pink. Immediately her sisters gave her sly grins and Rainbow said, "Oh, you have so got it bad for the guy."
"No, maybe, I don't know. I was just curious."
"Rat," smirked Applejack.
Rarity cleared her throat. "Infatuation aside, I have to say, what are we going to do? We have just been looked over to make sure we're proper brides, and it is most likely we will be separated." Fluttershy whimpered. "She's right. We'll never see each other again. We already lost Papa. I don't want to lose my sisters too," wailed Pinkie. At the mention of their father, the room became quiet. Twilight lowered her head and looked down at the tiles that led them to the magical world the last few days. It was their sanctuary, and now she knew why the place felt familiar to her. Because it was like their father was with them again. Twilight thought of Flash and how he reminded her of Sombra. The girls, too, thought that the colts they loved were like a piece of the Unicorn King they knew as their father. Then Twilight proclaimed, "You know?" She moved on top of the cutie mark tiles. "This place came to us when we were forced to marry somebody else. At the same time, we all came to love a colt." She turned to Fluttershy and Applejack and added, "Or creature, and, to me, I think it's a sign that we need to bring them to this place, so that we can love them out in the open. What do you think?" They were all speechless for a moment until Rainbow drew out,
"That is totally awesome!"
She twirled in the air. "Oh my gosh!" Pinkie jumped. "She's right!" Rarity's eyes twinkled. "She is! Oh, it's brilliant!" Fluttershy gasped. "Twilight, you really think so?"
"You bet she does!"
AJ cheered. "It's the best idea I've ever heard." Twilight motioned. "But you do realize that once we show them this world, it won't be a secret anymore." "True," Fluttershy said, and she decided to quote some words Discord used on her. "But it'll be our secret with them, and ours alone." The others nodded towards her. "All right then. We'll bring them here tonight." Flash walked up the stairs without wearing his armor, since it was late at night. He had received a note from Twilight telling him to meet her at the front of her room. He found it odd, but he'd take any chance to meet with the mare he really liked, especially since she was the princess. When reaching the top, he was surprised to see Fancy Pants, the head butler, there along with the page dragon Spike.
"Oh, I'm sorry," he said. "I must be in the wrong place."
"Say, Flash," Spike said, "you wouldn't have happened to gotten a note too, did you?"
"As a matter of fact, I did."
He showed them the small piece of parchment, and it was magically taken by Fancy.
"No doubt about it. It is the same message." "Same message?"
Flash questioned. Spike said, "I got one from Applejack."
"And I got one from Rarity. Twilight gave me one."
"Twilight?" That surprised Spike. "Wow. I did not take her as the knight in shining armour type. Why wouldn't she tell me she was seeing you?
I take it you've known her for a long time?
More than you know. She practically raised me.
It's true, gestured Fancy. Spike has been here as long as the princesses have been young fillies. I didn't know that until I was hired when the last head butler retired. Whoa, I've got a lot to learn around her.
Well now, what I'd like to know is... Spike turned back to Fancy. How long have you and Rarity been going on? Fancy raised an eyebrow.
And what does it matter to you?
Well, I was just wondering. He tried to hide the fact that he had a thing for Rarity first, before moving on to Applejack. Luckily, before he knew about this, it made him realise more than Applejack was better for him.
It did take us a while, but we have only discovered our feelings for each other as of late.
That's good to know. He went back to Flash. So... And how do you know Twilight anyway?
We met when I first arrived to fill my commission. Since then we've been seeing each other every night before we go to sleep.
I just can't believe she wouldn't tell me. Spike slumped.
I'm sure she never meant to hurt you. She had a good reason, I'm sure of it. Why, when we met, she didn't even tell me she was the princess.
That got the two servants' interests as he recapped that night. Meanwhile, just outside the castle, close to the princess's balcony window, Cheese was going all spy mode, ducking around and hiding in the shrubs. When Pinky came back to him that afternoon, she told him to meet her by the balcony later that night. He figured with Pinky she was throwing a surprise party of sorts, and kept on ducking to get there. Soren was flying through the air, confused on what Rainbow had told him to do, but knew that it had to be important if she wanted to meet him here in the middle of the night. Discord was the first to reach the balcony as he conjured up a grappling hook and threw it to hang on the rail. He climbed up and reached over the window, opening it. A sweet voice greeted him, saying, "I thought you were going to teleport in."
No, where's the fun in that? That doesn't make any sense.
Princess Rainbow Dash flew in his face. He lowered her down, stating,
"Now where's the fun in making sense?"
Twilight whispered to Fluttershy, "Are you sure we can trust him to keep the secret?" "I'm sure," Fluttershy replied, knowing all too well that Discord likes secrets. Since this secret would benefit him and her by being together more, it was most certain that he would keep it. "All right," Twilight breathed. Soren arrived next through the window, with Rainbow escorting him in.
Wow, so this is what a princess's room is like.
He then waved to the girls, who returned the wave.
Hiya, Soren!
Discord did a wave too.
Discord! I didn't even see you there.
He chuckled and patted the Wonderbolt's head.
Don't worry, I'm used to it.
Rainbow looked back and forth between the two and asked,
"How is it you know each other?" "When you travel around Equestria," started Discord, "you tend to watch a few Wonderbolt shows."
"Plus, he offers us free pie." Soren licked his lips. Fluttershy swooned. "Ah, that's sweet." Suddenly they heard a grunting coming from the balcony, and saw a hoof reaching over. Cheese Sandwich lifted his whole body over, panting, "Cheesy!" Pinky rushed over and helped him in.
"You didn't tell me it would be that high!"
He turned to the rest of the princesses. "Hi, girls!" "Hi, Cheese!" they responded. "Soren!" He nodded his head to the Wonderbolt. "Cheese?"
"Cheers, my main colt!"
Discord hoof bumped him, and then they did a secret hoof shake. The girls were pretty surprised at this, and Pinky said, "How do you have a secret hoof shake with Discord?"
"Well, next to you, Discord is my best customer. I ordered some things from his joke shop about every Friday. Which reminds me, did you get my request for..."
He whispered the rest in his ear. "I did, but we're waiting for a few more parts." That led confusion through the rest of the room until Twilight decided it was best they moved on. "Well, it's great you already know each other. We thought we'd have to do introductions." "But what about Spike?" said Applejack. "And Fancy Pants," pointed Rarity. "If my hunch is right, then they should be outside the door along with Flash." The purple unicorn magically opened the doors wide open, seeing the three of them laughing away with Spike saying something.
"At one time, Twilight had her muzzle stuck in the..."
He stopped as he saw a fuming Twilight glaring at him. He chuckled nervously. "Oh, hi, Twilight." Twilight cooled down, remembering her crush was present, and used a calming method to ease herself. She used a low tone to the dragon and said, I'll deal with you later. She composed herself and addressed all three of them. Glad you could come.
I wouldn't have missed it for the world,
Flash told her. She gave a slight blush and escorted them in. She talked to Fancy and Spike. You guys already know Soren and Cheese and... Discord! Spike shouted. What are you doing here?
For your information, I was invited. Believe it or not.
You're right. I don't believe it. He crossed his arms. It's true, Spike, Fluttershy said. I asked him over. Just like I invited you over, said Applejack.
But why? Questioned Fancy. Why bring the being that causes chaos in his wake? Still upset about the last time, I see,
Discord countered. I am not one to hold a grudge, but it is strange that the princesses would welcome you back into the castle. Not to worry, Fancy, reassured Rarity. It's just for tonight. I mainly agree at Fluttershy's expense. Twilight went back to the introductions. Now I would like you to meet, she saw he was hiding behind Fancy and Spike, Flash Sentry. Flash wasn't typically shy, but he was a bit intimidated by Discord and the fact that he was meeting other cults with the princesses.
Oh, we have a new guy,
Discord motioned. Sweet! Cheese went over to him and violently shook his hoof. Howdy, my name's Cheese Sandwich. Flash vibrated.
Nice to meet you.
Soren flew over him. Name's Soren, but I'm sure you recognise my awesomeness as a Wonderbolt.
I thought you looked familiar.
Then Discord popped to his side, which caused him to jump a little.
And I am Discord, spirit of chaos, disharmony, confusion, yada yada, you know the gist. Wait, didn't I see you as a statue in the Canterlot Gardens when I was a colt? You may have, but...
He teleported to Fluttershy's side and grabbed a hold of her.
Were it not for this, cutie, I would still be one.
Her cheeks started flushing. Oh, you don't need to go into that.
But it's such a good story.
Yeah, Spike whispered to Flash. One that nearly ends in disaster. Well, Twilight spoke up, I like a good story as much as any pony else. But we're on a tight schedule. So let me start by saying why we all brought you here.
I was so hoping you would.
Discord rolled his eyes. Uh-huh. Anyway, we're going to show you something we discovered a couple of days ago. But you all have to pinky promise not to breathe a word of it.
Whoa!
All the colts said, except for Flash, who was confused by the reaction.
What's the pinky promise?
He asked. Oh, right. Almost forgot. Pinky, would you like to explain? You betcha! Pinky went to Flash, making the promise gesture while saying, Cross my heart and hope to fly, stick a cupcake in my eye. And you can never, 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 never break a pinky promise. She slit her eyes and got in his face. Or else, She hummed back into Spot.
Why? What happens if you break it?
You don't want to know, they all told him. The point is, do you pinky promise to keep this a secret? Twilight asked the guys. There was a brief silence until Spike started them off. Cross my heart and hope to fly, stick a cupcake in my eye. When Flash was the last to do this, Twilight smiled and went, Girls? On cue, the boys got blindfolded by their mares. There were shouts of puzzlement. And no peeking. Pinky said, Okay, Twi, go! Twilight stepped on the tiles with Cheese saying, Does any pony else hear chiming? The girls had to contain their giggling as the portal opened. All right now. Twilight grabbed Flash's hoof. We have to go slowly because we're walking down the stairs.
Stairs?
The boys all shouted.
Yep,
Applejack said as she got Spike on her back. When the princesses helped them down, they were in a cave entrance and Twilight said, On the count of 3, you can remove your blindfolds. 1.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Discord ripped his off.
I'm supposed to be the one playing mind games. And...
His jaw dropped open at what he saw. The others had taken theirs off and saw the same thing, matching the expression he gave off. Isn't this the trendiest, niftiest place you've ever seen, Cheese? Pinky jumped to him.
It is.
He gaped. But what's it doing inside a castle? Spike pointed out.
Yeah, it's a castle within a castle.
Discord used his clever wordplay.
How ingenious is that?
Fluttershy wrapped her arms around his neck. I knew you would like it. Flash was still gawking when Twilight approached him. Isn't it incredible?
It's amazing. I can see now why you don't want any of us to say anything.
You got that right. Rainbow flew between them. Come on, Pinky bounced. Let's get to the other side already. She jumped into the boat. Pinky, said Applejack, there's only room for 6.
Then allow me to make it bigger.
Discord was about to snap when Fluttershy stopped him. Actually, we got this one. She went to some nearby golden flowers and said, I wish for the boat to be bigger, please. The boys gave her confused looks while the girls just smirked at them. In an instant, the flowers gave off their magical dust and surrounded the boat, making it larger. The colt's jaws dropped open again. Pinky, wearing a sea captain's hat, said, All aboard! When the shock wore off, Fancy Pants, remembering that he was a gentle colt, said to his lady love while offering his hoof,
Shall we?
Let's. She took it and he helped her into the boat and he sat by her. Cheese jumped into the front row where Pinky was sitting. Rainbow and Soren flew down behind them. AJ and Spike climbed in next, and then Twilight and Flash, while Fluttershy and Discord sat in the back. The boat began moving as they took in the sights surrounding the gold and silver castle. Once they reached the castle doors, they opened, and the guys were astonished by the bright golden ballroom, much like when the girls first came into the place. Rarity had a thought out loud. You know, for such a formal occasion like this, we should all be properly attired. She squealed as she said, I wish for all the guys to wear black tuxedos.
Excuse me?
Fluttershy. Discord exclaimed, and the next thing he knew, he was wearing a tux. He was about to snap it off when Fluttershy's sweet voice said, Oh, Discord, you look so handsome.
He looked at her in surprise. You think so?
You do. Her cheeks went pink. He conjured a hand mirror then.
Yes, I suppose I do look good, don't I?
She giggled. Fancy told Rarity,
I say, Rarity, this is quite nice.
I was hoping you would like it, and you do look so good in it. Rainbow told her cult friend,
I hope you don't mind my sister's need to fashion everything. That's okay. When you're a Wonderbolt, you get used to dressing up when making an appearance as somewhere important.
Pinky kept bouncing up and down. Oh, Cheesy, you look so great.
I do my best.
He smiled at her. Now don't you look all guzzled up, Applejack told Spike. I think I look okay.
More than okay. You're fine looking.
Ah, thanks. He rubbed his neck.
Twilight nearly gawked at the sight of Flash.
Flash! Wow! I almost didn't recognize you.
He slightly blushed. You're just saying that.
No, I'm not. She stared at him and he returned the stare until Rarity said, Now it's our turn, girls. I wish that we would all wear gowns that make us look gorgeous and that they match our personalities. The flowers obeyed, and in a magical dust storm, all 6 of them began glowing so bright that the guys had to avert their eyes. When the glow died down, Spike shouted out,
Whoa! You all look amazing!
All the guys said. The princesses looked at each other's gowns in awe. Rarity, you look so lovely. Fluttershy said, admiring her sister's magenta jeweled gown. So do you. She looked at Fluttershy's simple, nature-inspired gown. I can get used to this. Applejack looked at the saddle green dress she wore.
I guess this is pretty cool.
Rainbow noticed the cloud-like designs that had rainbows on it. Mine looks good enough to eat. Pinky jumped in her pink dress with cotton candy corn and lollipops on it. It is pretty. Twilight twirled in the blue gown with white stars she was wearing. Why, they could be our gowns for the grand galloping gala that's coming up, declared Rarity. That would be nice, but I don't think they're going to stay like this all night, pointed out Twilight. So let's make use of them and party! Pinky grabbed Cheese as her dancing partner and shouted, I wish for all the music that you got! Once again the instruments showed up and created the music for them to dance to.
Shall we, my lady?
Discord bowed to Fluttershy and offered his arm. She tittered and accepted as he moved her on to a nice waltz. One by one the princesses were asked by the boys they liked to dance with them, and the ballroom was filled with dancing ponies.